Caleb Williams, is he going to be fixed by Ben Johnson? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. And we were going to talk Henry, as you can see down at the bottom. But now I'm changing the graphic to Watson, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, because DeShaun Watson is now potentially in some trouble. Could be released by the Cleveland Browns. A couple rumors are circulating right now because there's video footage of him on TikTok, which Trump brought back. TikTok is available, my boys. Trump brought it back. Here is this man. You can go look at it right now. I don't know if he took it down. DeShaun Watson without a boot. And there's a whole lot of conversation going on right now about how the team can cut him. They can get the guaranteed money potentially off the books and not have to go down this road of having DeShaun Watson sitting there fermenting on the bench. Caleb Williams, DeShaun Watson, we're going to go all over all of that right now. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. File on in.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
So a lot to go over real quickly. We've got Watson potentially could be cut without any ramifications. That news is breaking right kind of now. There's a lot that needs to be combed over. There's no word that Cleveland's trying to go this route, but there's a lot of speculation, a lot of attorney type analysts that are bringing their take to this situation. But the Browns voiding DeShaun Watson's contract over his terrible cringe TikTok dancing video would be hilarious ending to this nightmare. This is from I believe this is a Cleveland sports TikTok. I don't know if he's a reporter or not, but there's tons of different reports on this. I grabbed this one. Even if the Browns can't prove Watson was engaging in activities that triggered a void of his guaranteed, recent images on social media show him without a walking boot. Given the difficulty of rolling an ankle while in the walking boot, it is possible that he wasn't wearing the boot when he was supposed to be wearing the boot, and the team's specific rehab protocols require him to wear a boot. That could be another avenue for voiding his guaranteed money. And they need to get out of this contract. And Bears fans want to get out of this contract. He tore his Achilles. For those that don't know, he tore his Achilles 3-4 months ago. And he tore it again just recently. So he is absolutely looking at no played games in 2025, which is devastating given his contract. $90+ million still guaranteed. We'll find out what happens, but DeShaun Watson may have just screwed himself out of a whole bunch of money. And I don't think he cares, to be honest with you. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if he never played another down again in the NFL, or I wouldn't be shocked if he never started again, maybe tried to go one more year and then tried to rehab and then retired. DeShaun Watson never starting another NFL game seems like more of a likely scenario than him ever starting a game in the National Football League again. So that's the DeShaun Watson news. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. What does Chicago do with their number 2 overall pick? Cleveland. What's Cleveland do? I keep saying Cleveland and Chicago. Let me move this out of the way and find the draft order. Where's the draft order when you need it? Here's the draft order. The Cleveland Browns have the number 2 overall pick. They're almost certainly, with no DeShaun Watson available for 2025, probably. And on top of that, with the possibility of him being released without having to owe any money, Cleveland's going Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. You can almost bet your bottom dollar. And they would be crazy to trade that pick because they're in the driver's seat. Even if these two quarterbacks are not guaranteed locks, they're not as good as even Drake May or Bo Nix. It really is not as good of a draft class. You would be crazy to pass on the opportunity when destiny's sitting right in front of you and you can grab one of the top 2 quarterbacks. So there it is. We have Justin Fields news as well. We'll get to that in a second, but we've got Ben Johnson. Okay. Ben Johnson has been hired as the Bears head coach, trying to fix Caleb Williams and the Chicago disaster that totally unraveled on everybody in 2024. It was supposed to be the best situation a rookie QB's ever been set up for, Smitty. They said who's they? They said Caleb was going to be amazing. He was not. They said he's great in structure and doesn't need to scramble. He was not. They said that this was the best setup situation for any rookie QB in the history of the NFL. We said it was Washington. We said it was what we told you. We told you. Washington was the best setup situation for a rookie QB ever because it doesn't just live and die by the pieces on the field. Adam Peters was a big reason why I said, and we said over and over, Washington was the best setup situation for a rookie QB ever. People didn't want to hear it.
Let him cook.
They didn't want to hear it, but boy, are they hearing it now. And boy, are they getting on the train now. Let me switch this graphic over to Caleb. I'm trying to keep the name of who we're talking about on screen. I'm going to try and do that more consistently, especially for replay purposes, so you guys know what the hell we're talking about. Caleb Williams, Cody be fixed, Willie be fixed. Ben Johnson had the Lions offense in 2022 ranked number 4 total offense in 2022. 2023 third, 2024 second. But that doesn't mean he's going to translate as a good or great head coach. It doesn't just happen that way. You know, there's a lot that goes into it. Kind of like Kyle Shanahan, how I continue to say, and this is relevant, and I have some of you Niner fans get tired of me bashing Kyle Shanahan. Get ready for an entire offseason of it because it's not going to stop. Kyle Shanahan is a disaster. Hold on, let me hit this button while I lock the front door on Miss Smitty, so she's gonna have trouble getting in. Hold on. Look at this. Look at this.
There are 2 5s? KD 5? AR 5? There can't be.
Oh no. They're gonna cross streams.
Oops. Well, damn. He's a fragile Freddy.
He's a 5. JD5 is the only 5. JD5 is him, and now all can see. He graduated from Himothy University.
Sorry, I had to let Miss Smith. I locked a bolt. She couldn't get in the door. She's bang. Okay, anyway, here we are talking Caleb Williams. Ben Johnson, as I said, Kyle Shanahan is a great offensive mind, great scheme artist, great offensive coordinator, but he's a terrible head coach. Absolutely terrible. Anything he does right is because he's a great offensive coordinator. They made it to a championship game, Smitty. They made it to a Super Bowl, Smitty. Offensive coordinating. How about how he botches everything, every single offseason? Every single offseason. Dice Boy, Smitty, relax on the Niners slander. We're getting healthy. No, you're not. What are you talking about? Dice, you have no clue what you're just blindly going toward the Niner vibe as if you have any legs to stand on, bro. You're Christian McCaffrey. I bet you think Christian McCaffrey is going to be healthy next year. You'll feel free to call in. The phone lines are closed, but I'll open them for you if you'd like to come in and debate me on why your Niners, your beloved Niners, are so good and you're going to be expecting a better season. Come on, bro. This is ridiculous. Just like Kyle Shanahan is a disaster of a head coach. Horrible decision maker. Trey Lance, giving up 3 first-rounders, going after Trey Lance, then shelving him. A kid that had never played more than like a season of football, and you shelve him for years, and you expect him to come in and do something? What a dumb decision. How you handle Ayuk in the offseason. I told you what was going to happen. I told you how that was going to go. So if you want to call in and discuss it, Dice Boy, I'm ready for you. The phone lines are open only for Dice Boy.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
It's unbelievable when people want to defend. CMC wasn't healthy. The phone lines are open, Dice Boy. CMC will never be healthy again. Do you not understand that? Are you that blind to this situation? Like, really, Dice Boy, do you think CMC's got 2 or 3 years left? Is that what goes on in your head? The phone lines are open. Call in and defend your team. I'm not even a hater on the Niners. I am a anti-Shanahan head coach person, 100%. You know what I'm also anti? Ryan Poles, worst GM in football. You know who's the best GM in football? Adam Peters, your former Niner acting GM. Yeah, your GM in the shadows that brought you Kittle, brought you Brock Purdy, brought you so many great picks. That guy is the best GM in the league. Do you think I'm a Niner hater when I tell you how much I love Adam Peters? Do you think I'm a Niner hater when I tell you that I like Debo, that I love Ayuk as a skill set, a player coming out of college from ASU, mind you, from Arizona, from my beloved Arizona State University?
You've just been Smitty approved.
Who else is from ASU? Kind of blanking right now.
He's on a shuttle to Mars.
Scatterboo!
Man.
Scatter what? Scatterboo. All you Scatterboo haters out there. Anyway, yeah, Niners Super Bowl is not closing. It's closed. The door's shut. I still don't see Dice Boy calling in. Continue with the Bears, Smitty. That's what I thought. Okay, so anyway, this guy Ben Johnson goes over to be head coach for the worst GM or one of the worst GMs in football. It's a tie between Joe Get Your Shine Box, Joe Shine, and Ryan Poles and Jerry Jones, to be honest. Those are probably the worst GMs in football. And Ryan Poles has made a debacle of this situation. The Bears, as my boy Mikey says, who's one of the biggest Bear fans I know, the Bears are a joke of an organization run by non-football people that pretend to be football people, and they continue to not develop and botch every single thing they touch, especially relating to the quarterback position. Now, I do believe that this guy, Ben Johnson, who we knew was going to leave, Sick Nasty, or who was it that was, I think it was Sick Nasty. Wasn't it? I forget who. Was absolutely, not wanting to have this conversation. And I don't blame, if it was Sick Nasty, I don't blame anybody not wanting to have this conversation. If you're a Lions fan and you don't want Ben Johnson to go, you don't want to talk about it. But he was going to go. He didn't go last year, surprisingly. He stayed another year. I do believe Cliff Kingsbury will choose to do the same thing, because Cliff Kingsbury, probably the only spot that would be tempting to pull him away from JD5, at least one more year of developing JD5. Especially if they fall short, or even if they win, he'll want to run it back again. But Kingsbury would have been tempted to go after this Chicago Bear head coaching job, because Caleb Williams is like a son to him. They spend holidays together. They're like this. He was his QB coach at USC last year, or the year, this was his rookie year prior in college. USC QB coach. I don't know. This is my fear. I love Kingsbury. I do. But I even said, as of about 24 hours to 48 hours ago, that if he lands in Chicago, I don't know that it's going to work out. Just because he's a great offensive coordinator, this is a mess over there in Chicago. Are you fully enabled? Are you given full free reign? Poles is making a lot, if not most, all of the big decisions. I'm sure he will consult with Ben Johnson. I'm sure he told Ben Johnson, hey, I'm going to get your opinion every step of the way. We'll make decisions together. But Ryan Poles has been the one that screwed up everything from the jump. He took all the meat off the bone, ran Fields out there with a bare-bones skeleton crew, got him injured. He still ran for 1,100 plus yards, looked remarkable. They bring in DJ Moore, which was great. But, Denny, the phone lines aren't open yet. I'm in the middle of a monologue, but call back in just 1 second. Actually, I'll put you on hold. If you can, Denny, if you can truly mute yourself, I'll put you on hold. But if you don't mute yourself, I'm hanging up. I just need to go through my monologue. So hit the mute button. If you're on hold, I'll keep you there. This guy, Ben Johnson, walks over into this situation probably with great intent, or definitely with great intentions and a lot of good vibes. Okay. Can he turn this situation around? Is Caleb Williams a skilled enough quarterback to do what Goff's doing? The answer is yes. The answer is Goff is no amazing quarterback. He turned kind of into a Sam Darnold in the playoffs. I think it's a very, very, very tough situation to navigate. It's a very tough situation to predict. The Redwood, please mute yourself as well. The Redwood, I'll come to you in a second. Please, guys, both you hit mute. I'll tell you this. I think Ben Johnson's the best chance they have. I think he's the right man for the job. I think he could potentially, I don't want to say unravel or ruin his career heading in this direction. There are better jobs than this one to take. This is a much bigger challenge. The glazing of Caleb Williams coming off a very bad rookie season for the most part. A lot of his numbers came in garbage time in the third and fourth quarter when defenses are playing prevent against him. He never did anything in the first quarter. He was always 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Every bit of his stats were built off of weird defensive scheming for a team that is getting blasted to pieces. This is not a good rookie season to analyze. This is a bunch of garbage time production from a quarterback that can't play in structure. He has to play off script. He can only, if you notice, play good football while he's running around with his head cut off, running for his life. Caleb Williams is not an elite quarterback. He's not the next Patrick Mahomes, and everybody glazed him over and over and over in the offseason, and they still, commentators, there's that magic. He'd be awful all game, just like he was awful all year. And a commentator, no matter who it was, would be like, I wonder if this is when he's going to get into his bag of magic, and this is what we're waiting for. As if he'd done any of that. As if he had shown us anything to make us think that he's a great quarterback in the making. Is he good enough to be Jared Goff? The answer, again, is yes. Jared Goff was not a great quarterback. Jared Goff is not a great quarterback. Jared Goff is mediocre at best in a very good system surrounded by the most elite wide receiver room mixed with running back room, mixed with tight end room, mixed with defense, mixed with offensive line in the NFL. There might be no better combination of receivers, tight end, offensive line, defense, and running room in the entire National Football League. Of course, if you stick Jared Goff in there, he'll look really good. He won't be elite, but he'll look really good. Sometimes he'll play on levels that make you wonder, is that an elite quarterback? No, it's not. It's Jared Goff. But Goff is not a good quarterback. He lives in the most ideal world with the most ideal skill set players surrounding him, and that's what Caleb needs to have happen for Caleb to be Jared Goff. If Caleb's going to be Jared Goff, you got to fix the wide receiver room, which is loaded with talent, but they don't play well. You got to fix the offensive line, which is non-existent. They got to draft an offensive line, but Ryan Poles is the one making the decisions. And Ryan Poles is the one that said, let me bring over, keep Eberflus, bring over Shane 2 wide receiver set Waldron from Seattle, which I said was the dumbest move the Chicago Bears could have ever made. And this guy, Ryan Poles, decides not to hire Cliff Kingsbury, which I believe was the first interview, if I remember correctly. And they just kicked the tires, formality, sent Kingsbury on his way. Didn't even strongly consider Kingsbury. Why? Because Eberflus didn't like him. Why didn't he like him? Because he was too intimidating. How could I have a guy that knows more about ball below me? No, bring in some stooge. Let's go get 2 wide receivers set Shane Waldron, stick him in Chicago with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, and then instead of drafting an offensive lineman, my name's Ryan Poles, I'm such a good GM, I made such a good trade where I didn't draft Stroud, but here I am drafting Caleb. we're going to draft a wide receiver, Roma Dunze, instead of going and getting an offensive lineman. Even though we've hired an offensive coordinator that runs 2 wide receiver sets and has never, ever even called a running play by himself. Let's do that. This is the man that's the puppet master above Ben Johnson. Do I hope Ben Johnson has success? I do. Do I wish him well? I do. Do I think he's probably the best shot at trying to break through all this noise and disaster and debacle? Yeah, he is the best shot, but he's also running the risk of not having success and failing out of a head coaching job, having to go get an OC job again, then climbing back up and getting into a position that he is currently already in. Hard to say. What position would I rather be in? Dallas Cowboys, give me CeeDee Lamb, give me Dak Prescott, give me a defense, give me the 12 pick overall to draft Ashton Genty. You could draft Scatterboo. Who knows? Maybe this guy does draft Scatterboo or Genty, though. This is the concern that I come to you with today, is that we look at this draft order and we say, what is Ben Johnson like? Weapons. He's holding what pick? Chicago Bears have the 10 overall pick. Where is Ashton Genty expected to be drafted? 5 to 12. So Ben Johnson could very well. He should go offensive line. He probably will go offensive line. But is there a shot that this team considers getting him his new Jahmyr Gibbs? It's possible. And if he doesn't, does he look to Scatterboo later in the draft? Does he look to Dylan Sampson? My fear is this team will take a running back. And that scares the piss out of me because I don't want a single player that I love greatly falling into this potential trap that is led by Ryan Poles, that has a guy navigating like Ben Johnson, which is good. At least we got an insider in there to try and fix things from the inside out. But I don't know that I believe that Ryan Poles won't screw this up, because he's screwed up everything so far, and everybody else has been a scapegoat besides Ryan Poles. I hope Genty and Scatterboo do not land in Chicago. Go ahead, Denny.
Smitty, why are you so going ape crap about Chicago?
This is my resting face. This is my resting face. I've had a couple of people tell me that lately, like, Smitty's kind of wild today. This is how I normally am. What are you talking about? This is me in a great mood. This is my complete resting face. There's nothing different about me. People that know me well, Denny, and I thought you were one, would know that this is my normal behavior.
Your normal behavior is to just go ape crap.
Denny, I don't know where you've been for the last...
About Chicago. You just... All about Chicago. We're going into the playoffs now, Smitty.
Denny, this is breaking news today. The two most breaking pieces of news are what we're talking about right now. These are the two biggest topics in NFL sports right now. Is that Watson could have his entire contract voided and be released by the Cleveland Browns because he wasn't wearing a boot, and he's posting TikToks of him without a boot, just going to the lake or whatever the hell he was doing, and Ben Johnson going to Chicago, and the ramifications fantasy-wise to maybe drafting an RB or destroying Ben Johnson's career. This is the two biggest topics. I don't know what you're expecting. You expect me to come in here and go, let's just talk about the matchups again. Let me show you the matchups. Here are the matchups. KC versus Buffalo. Washington versus Philly. Philly versus Washington. Buffalo versus KC. Who do you think's going to win? Let's do an MVP awards. Like anybody gives a shit about who's the fantasy football MVP of 2024. These shows that go out there and waste your time for an hour talking about yesterday. You know what the biggest waste of time is? Remember when?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know what you're dealing with, but nobody, that's not going to get you. Yeah, you can probably, I don't know, that's not going to win anybody anything. Well, who are you talking about? It's not even relevant. You're going off on some weird stuff, man. You're a weirdo. Oh, Oh, he's still listening to me?
Oh,
Yo, why are you worried about the Browns? And we got some big stuff going on here, Smitty. We got people here.
Ziggy, is Denny out of pocket?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Ziggy, is Denny out of pocket?
Smitty. What?
Oh, hold on. He's whispering back. Ziggy, can we whisper?
Ziggy.
Hold on, Denny.
To enable whisper mode, say, Alexa, turn on whisper mode. You can also enable whisper mode
Ziggy,
with Alexa app.
turn on whisper mode. Hold on, Denny.
Okay, I've turned on whispered responses.
Hold on. Hey, Ziggy, what day is it today?
I go to work.
Ziggy, volume 10 went on whisper mode. Ziggy, what is today's date? Can you hear that? Ziggy, what is today's date?
It's Monday, January 20th.
Why are you
By the way,
going?
I can now notify you of breaking news updates. Would you like that?
Man.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Denny. What are you trying to say? Denny, first of all, you're a little out of pocket calling to my show and telling me I'm a weirdo because I'm talking about the two most relevant pieces of news. The two most relevant pieces of news today.
I'm out of pocket. Oh, okay. The two most relative pieces of news. How are they going to help fantasy? Okay. Let's say who you got? Tell me,
Denny, is it relevant to talk about Ben Johnson leaving Detroit and what that maybe now does to Jahmyr Gibbs, to St. Brown, to Jamison Williams, to Laporta, to Goff? Is it fair to discuss the most relevant piece of news today and have the ramifications of that? Is it fair? Is it?
You didn't mention Monty.
Is it fair? Who's Monty? Is that the backup that holds the jock strap for Jahmyr Gibbs? Also, is it fair to discuss that Caleb Williams may or may not get better under Ben Johnson? What are you talking about, Denny? This is the most relevant information out there. I don't know what kind of Mickey Mouse show you expect to call into. This is out of pocket for you, Denny. Very out of pocket.
You know what? If I'm out of pocket, I apologize. But I just think you're out of pocket.
Hey, Ziggy.
Yeah, I'm right here. Why are you talking about the Bears?
Ziggy,
What's going on, man?
It's Monday, January 20th.
Ziggy, whisper to me.
Yo, I know you know. There's some stuff going on.
Hey, Ziggy.
You don't even care about the
Ziggy,
playoffs.
let out a belch. Ziggy,
Why are you talking?
hey, Denny, please, I'm talking to Ziggy. Hold on a second. Ziggy, can you burp for me? Ziggy, off. Ziggy, can you burp for me?
Welcome to Superbird.
All right, Ziggy off. Ziggy off. All right, hold
That was
on.
a long burp. You could ask
Ziggy!
for a deep burp.
Off. Redwood,
Until
you're
next
live.
time, then.
You're live,
Goodbye.
Redwood. What can I do for you?
Hey, Smitty. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. I don't know if you want to talk about this, but go ahead.
No, I just as a Redskins fan, I just was thinking like how good it felt to be, especially the Lions, because like during our coach hiring cycle last year, I wanted him to be the coach, and then they started talking about Darren Quinn being the coach. I was like, man. So man, I'm kind of glad we got Quinn now, but it felt good to take down the Lions just because of that factor. Even though, like, if the Lions would have won, I would have rooted for them, but The other thing I was going to say is, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, Dan Quinn and Kingsbury is better than just Kingsbury. Like, that's what I was trying to tell everybody when they hired Dan Quinn. Everyone's like, oh, my God, this is not good. I'm like, what do you mean it's not good? Like, he's bringing culture and defense and all the other things he can bring to the table and mentality and experience. And Kingsbury, who's been a proven unsuccessful head coach, but great offensive coordinator, you get two pieces to this puzzle. Kind of like the same thing in Atlanta, the same thing that you're going to probably have in New England. You bring Vrabel over. I'd rather have Vrabel and a great offensive mind than just Ben Johnson, to be honest with you. And we don't know if Ben Johnson gets thrown. This is like I was saying, we don't know if he's going to be a good head coach. Just because you're a good offensive coordinator, you're a good chef. You can dial up good dinners. You can cook. You can cook like nobody else. Doesn't mean you can run the P&L, do the hiring and firing, the marketing, the managing. To be the CEO of the team is a lot harder, and you're not allowed to cook as much. It takes away from your ability to stay in the kitchen. So if offensive coordinator is the kitchen and the cook, you don't really know what's going to happen to Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson could be way in over his head. And if there's a team out there that would make somebody that might be ready to do this fail, it would be Chicago. But is he the best potential person for the job? Yes, but I'm a little fearful for him that he's going to walk in and he's going to walk into a clown show, because that's what Chicago is. They don't know how to develop quarterbacks. They don't know how to assemble talent. They don't know how to make good decisions. And Ryan Poles is proven to be one of the worst GMs in football.
Yeah,
Smitty, why the hell
Hold on.
are you talking about Chicago? Can we just talk about
Finish him.
the people in the playoff?
Call terminated.
Denny, I had to hang up on him because he's nonstop. This is what the show's about. It's the two most relevant topics. I don't know how many times I could tell him. Go ahead, the Redwood. What's your other question?
So as far as like the fantasy thing, okay, so like it sounds like there's rumors that a lot of teams are looking into Kingsbury to try to make him their head coach. What do you think about that? Like, do you think he'll try to stay, or do you think?
I think he'll stay. This is what I was saying earlier, that the fact that Kingsbury's most likely temptation would have been Chicago to play with his near son, Caleb Williams. He treats him like a son. They spend holidays together. They're like family. It's his most ideal landing spot. And he would have taken it because it's not like the job's going to be available. Like, look, Ben Johnson's now there. Like, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to spend one more year with JD5, then I'll go to Chicago. It's ready now. It's now or never. And so he would have taken it, even if it was a little early for him. But now, I don't know that there's an attractive enough location, and there's no way Ben Johnson's going to have enough control in Dallas, and they've already pretty much for that reason ruled out Ben Johnson. Like, Dallas wants a puppet. And so Ben Johnson's not going there. That's an attractive place to go. There's not enough locations that pry me away as Kingsbury away from JD5 and the development of JD5. There just might be.
I don't really see Dallas. I don't see them as a good fit anyway for his kind of system, because he's always got like a mobile QB. I mean, Dak used to be a little bit mobile. But
what do you mean? With Ben Johnson,
like a lot of
with
his
Goff.
teams.
What are you talking about?
Wait,
Kingsbury. I see what you're saying. I'm sorry. I thought
Kingsbury. Yeah, Kingsbury.
Yeah,
Kingsbury.
I don't know. I don't say it's not great. I think Kingsbury would absolutely love having CeeDee Lamb, and it would have an arsenal. They have the 12 overall pick. But yeah, I mean, I think that Jerry wasn't a good fit for Jerry, and it wasn't a good fit for Ben, because Jerry wasn't going to give Ben the keys to the line to the office. He was going to say, "Hey, every day you've got to come and rent out your clipboard and sign it out with me." That's the feeling you get when you work for Jerry. So Ben didn't want any part of that. But I don't know. I just don't think. I mean, could Kingsbury go to Jose Cruz says the Raiders? Sure. I mean, there's a lot of attractive, spots, but are they as attractive as Chicago would have been to Kingsbury? No. But, Giants would be great, but that is not vacant. That's Dable staying in New York. Patriots is filled by Vrabel. So you don't really have a lot. The Jets are kind of a disaster. I don't think Kingsbury would even consider that. Honestly, the only spot left that I could see him even being tempted would be the Raiders. So Jose is not a bad one to throw out there, only because there's a lot of talent. You got Brock Bowers. You've got the number 10 overall pick. Or no, you have the Raiders have a 6 overall pick. And then maybe you bring in like a Justin Fields or something like that. That would be an attractive situation for me if I was Kingsbury. and it's a running quarterback, as you're saying. So Fields, Bowers, the number 6 overall pick. You could draft Ted McMillan there. You could draft potentially Hunter. You might be there or not. I don't know. This would be a great spot. But I think, would you rather go to that or stay with JD5, develop him, and then really be the number 1 overall coaching prospect coming out one more year, and then there'll probably be another spot or two that are open up that are gold. He's getting basically his third or fourth choice now versus maybe the first overall choice if he just waits one more calendar year. I don't think he's leaving. Yeah. Even if they win it all, I think he's going to ride that train another year because they're only going to get better. But especially if they bail out this next round or lose in the Super Bowl, I think that's going to give him one more reason to go at it again. So I think no matter what, win or lose, he's staying one more year. But you never know. You never know. It just doesn't make sense to leave the most amazing situation, and you helped build that. You're just going to walk after 1 year. I know a lot of people think you got to take that jump, but it's kind of like, let's say you went to a job, right? Anywhere in banking or whatever, and you weren't even really, you're still green. You're not even good yet. And somebody wanted to promote you right away. You might say no because you're overwhelmed already and you want to do it the right way so you last. If Kingsbury just jumps off for the first available job that's left, the highest, available job left, Dallas is out, New England's out, great quarterback to work with, that's gone. I mean, he's looking at fourth or fifth choice. There's no reason for him to leave.
And I think he's still getting paid from his Arizona contract too, so it's not, like money-wise, it's not, But anyway, thanks, Smitty. Thanks for your time.
All right, later. All right, Denny.
All right,
Denny.
Go Redskins.
Yeah, Denny, go ahead.
So you're saying that wanted. All right, let's take the truth. Wanted out. What are you guys just talking about? I'm not even sure, but wanted. You said Chicago. I'm sorry. Okay. Wanted.
Oh.
You know they lost.
Can I get a little people talking? Can I get a little people talking?
I don't know. Like people are talking about people. Say they stand just a little too close. With hands just a little too loud.
I like it. Thank you, Denny. Doesn't that calm you down? Don't you feel a lot better now? Oh, God. No. Jeez.
Bro.
Yeah.
I know you loved it, Trey. Right? They had all arms. Loved it, Trey. And Gibbs.
What are we doing here, Denny? Denny, what are we trying to say? What are you trying to say tonight?
We're talking about people. What I'm trying to say to you is, I think you were all over Detroit. And who's that?
Denny, wake up! Denny, wake up! Denny, you're falling asleep on the phone. I don't think you know what you're saying. But anyway, let me ask you the questions, okay? Because I don't think you're capable of getting them out right now. Do you think Ben Johnson turns Caleb into a good quarterback?
No.
Do you think Ben Johnson?
I don't think Caleb is even questionable to be a good quarterback.
Okay. So do you believe that Ben Johnson fails, and how many years do you give him? 2 years? Do you think they can him after 2 years if this doesn't work out?
I just can't believe we're talking about Ben Johnson.
Denny, these are the two biggest news pieces going on right now in the NFL. We're not going to talk about the matchups. Okay. We're not going to talk about the matchups Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I'll punch you right there.
What are we going to do here? Mahomes? Is Mahomes have a good game? We talked about it last night. I really like this matchup.
No,
Buffalo. What are we supposed to do with this, Denny? There's only so much we can talk about. Washington's coming in strong. Philly's gonna.
Can we talk? I have a feeling you don't like Josh Allen. Why can't we talk about that? Jeez, you want to talk about the Bears? They're not even going to make the playoffs for 20 years from now.
Denny,
you want to talk about
Denny, look at the screen right now, please. Can you look at the? Are you not watching the show?
I'm trying, sweetie, I'm trying.
Okay. So what did you? What are the words that just came out of your mouth? You said I don't like Josh Allen. Is that what you said?
No, I said I love Josh Allen, and I don't know why we're talking about
tonight. Tonight we're talking dynasty value, Derrick Henry.
I mean.
All right, Denny, can you just accept that these are the two biggest pieces of news right now, and that it's my job, you trust me, to bring you the most relevant, desired topics day in and day out, and that I decided, because this is my show, I decided that these are the two most relevant topics in my courtroom. So, no, I'm not coming in here 5 straight days to talk about Mahomes and Josh Allen and JD5 and Jalen Hurts. We have all week to do that. Not to mention, we have open phone lines. Anybody can come in and say, hey, I want to talk about this KC Chief game. Anybody can do that at any time. So what I do is I bring you, during the news section, the most... What was I supposed to do today? Breaking news. The Chiefs are in the playoffs. Breaking news. The Buffalo Bills are in the playoffs. What am I supposed to do with that, Denny? This is a news show. These are the two biggest pieces of news. I have an open phone line. You can dial in anytime you want and talk KC Chief football, Josh Allen football.
All right? Yeah. Let's keep it relevant. You think anyone wants to talk about Chicago Bears right now?
Yes, they do, Denny. Denny, this is big news. Okay, I'm done with this. I'm going to hang up on you again if you don't just change the topic. Here, compose yourself. I love you. Compose yourself for a second. Ethan, the negative, you're live. Go ahead, Ethan.
Smitty, I like your analogy. I think it's spot on. Ben Johnson's the best cook, but Ryan Poles is like the manager that's going to make him serve frozen food. Yeah,
Ryan Poles wants. He's going to ask Ben Johnson to wear more flair, and Ben Johnson's going to say, "Do you want me? Am I required to wear more pieces of flair?" And Poles is going to go, "It's not required, but we encourage it." Ben Johnson, I doubt, took the job without the intention or the direction or the confirmation that he would be able to make a lot of decisions and would not need Ryan Poles to make it. Would get a lot of control. Ben Johnson would not walk away from his setup to be a puppet master. That's why he wasn't even considered for the Dallas Cowboy job, because Jerry Jones probably said in so many words, "You will be my puppet." And Ben Johnson said, "I will not," and probably didn't even sit down. That's how bad everybody knows Jerry Jones. You get Jerry Jones, a job for Jerry Jones, you have to literally shine his shoes. Joe Shine would be great at that. You could get his shine box and head right over. But Ben Johnson had no shot at going to Dallas. There's no control there. Jerry thinks he's everything. He thinks he's an amazing scout. He thinks he's an amazing... I bet you anything before Jerry dies, he head coaches the team. He's going to say, "I'll do it myself." He'll go down onto the field and try and coach this team.
I love that.
I'd watch it. But I don't know if Ben Johnson's going to succeed. I want him to. If there's anybody that can, it would be him. If there's anybody that could turn Caleb Williams, who's not an elite quarterback, I don't care what anybody tells me. He's not an elite quarterback. He's not good. He's got a solid arm. He's got good skills. If anybody could turn him into Jared Goff, game manager, it would be Ben Johnson. But is Ben Johnson going to have all these little icons on my image here? Little screwdriver, little saw. Is Ben Johnson going to be able to tear this down to the floorboards and rebuild it, or is he going to have to patchwork a really bad foundation and just get screwed up? Denny, what are you doing?
I'm moving my chair around. I'm trying to be respectful. I'm just moving my chair around.
All right, let me go back to Ethan real quick. Denny, trying to keep the mouth breathing to a minimum. Ethan, the negative. What else you got, Ethan?
Yeah, I think sometimes bad leadership can just make you a shell of yourself. You know, and I hope it works out for Ben Johnson. But I was also going to ask, you're in that area of Phoenix. You got me thinking of kitchen nightmares. Did you ever eat at Amy's Baking Company back in the day?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of good restaurants where you're from, but that was a funny one.
You know, Arizona's got some of the best pizza in the country. And everybody thinks that's a joke. They're like, hey, Arizona. I have my Chicago pals and New York pals always act like they've got some leg to stand on. They're like, Arizona's got horrible pizza. We have some of the best pizza. It's not everywhere, but we have spots that even Dave Portnoy's given like 8.4s and 8.5s. And Lou Molinati's one of the best pizza joints in the country. Has locations in Chicago, and because Chicago transplants live in Arizona, a big majority of people that migrate here come from Canada and Chicago.
Right.
So Lou Molinati's created locations in Chicago, obviously, and in Arizona. Why do you think that is? Because people are craving pizza here. So Lou Molinati's. Then you got Pizza Bianco, which is like probably top 10 in the country by anybody's standards if they checked it out. Dave Portnoy, I think, gave him like an 8 point. Somebody, Ziggy, what grade did Dave Portnoy give Pizza Bianco? He won't know this. There's no way.
From Outkick.com, Portnoy scored the pizza a 6.4 out of 10.
Oh, geez, that's not. No, but that's the wrong location.
Phoenix had good scores, so it had good scores.
Ziggy tells him.
I'll tell you, it was Monty's in Wayne, Massachusetts. Got a perfect score with the pub pizza. North of Boston, Wayne, Jay Portnoy. He took that slice.
Hey, hold on, Denny. Hold on. Hold on, Denny. Trevor's Liquor. It's like a luxurious liquor store. It's one of those liquor stores you walk in, and if you bump something and knock it over, it's like $500. He gave Trevor's 8.3 out of 10. 8.3 out of 10. Let me see.
Where I'm at. There was Denny's in Weymouth, right down the street where I'm at. It was Denny's, like Denny's. He gave it an 8.4. It's that bar pub pizza. You're not gonna get that out there.
Okay.
What the hell you're not gonna get it?
Yes, you are.
The pub pizza.
Yes, you are. That's what Dave Portnoy is scoring. All right. Anyway, let me go over to Travis. Travis, you're live.
Oh, I gotta go, Smitty. Thanks a lot. All right. Bye.
Yep, thank you, Ethan. We'll see you later. Travis, go ahead.
You got it covered in this a little bit. But do you think that off-script stuff can be coached out of Caleb, especially when Ben Johnson has to be the head coach as well?
Motion detected at the
He's not
front
going to
door.
be just the OC. Like, I don't know if it can be.
I don't know. I don't know if you can coach that out of Caleb, to be honest with you. I think that he did. Yeah, he did it at college on a grand scale. He did throw inside the pocket some. It's not like he doesn't know how. But the concern I would have is that he grew up in turmoil at the college level. He was sitting in a whirlwind of offensive breakdown. And people would always say the reason Caleb's better is because he didn't have a lot of weapons and he was doing a lot with a little, and he was having to scramble around and run for his life. Look how amazing he is. Then he gets to the pros, and when he's in the pocket in structure, it's 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Denny, can you mute yourself? It's really loud, bro. It's 3 and out. It's 3 and out. Denny.
Oh, I'm in?
Mute yourself, please. It's really loud. It's really loud.
No, I'm trying to be quiet. What?
Denny, mute yourself or I'll hang up. It's very loud. There's something going on in the background. We can't hear. But if you think like he can just snap out of it, when he was in the pocket, he was terrible. So like he did play in the pocket. I know he can play in the pocket. The question is, can he play well in the pocket? So we'll find out. I mean, is he good at scrambling around? Of course he is. But that's what he perfected at the college level, was running around off script, not in structure, just scrambling around, waiting for a receiver to run a second chance route, and him using the one thing he does have is an arm talent. Guess who else had an arm talent? A ton of quarterbacks. Johnny Manziel had he was a great arm talent in the college football space, but he was horrible in the pros. Josh Rosen was supposed to be some great quarterback. He sucked. Ryan Leaf. What was that guy's name? Probably one of the best arms ever in Atlanta. What was that guy's name? That quarterback.
Jeff George.
Yeah, Jeff George. Remember? Jeff George had a cannon. Doesn't mean anything. It means literally nothing. Look at, and I don't want to give Brock Purdy a lot of credit here because I do think Brock Purdy's a game manager, no doubt about it. But look how good Brock Purdy was in that compartmentalized season where everything was going perfect. Then you didn't need a cannon. You could do a lot with a little. There's a lot of quarterbacks that don't have an absolute cannon that can go out and play very effective and efficient football. But yeah, Jeff George had a monster arm.
Smitty, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Denny.
There was a time when the Pats took this dude, Milton, and you said to me, look at this guy, watch out for this guy. And
I like Joe Milton.
He's not. But guess what? You were right.
I know.
So, when he was getting fired, when Mayo was getting fired, Milton had to show it down.
I like Milton a lot.
He had a cannon, and pretty accurate.
Dice Boy says Brock better than Herbert and Stroud. Dice, don't embarrass yourself. I've told you, I'm giving you the phone number if you want to call in and argue these very irrational points of yours. This is ridiculous.
Smitty,
go ahead.
Milton, you said, I said, no, Smitty, he's nothing. He's garbage. And it's athletic.
Jamarcus Russell, Achilles Smith.
The Pats took that dump.
Look,
and then
let me summarize this. Let me give the Cliff Notes version of what you're trying to say. If you would just use Joe Milton as Taysom Hill, you would have a player that no one can stop. If you put me in charge of the New England Patriots decision making, even if I wasn't coach, whatever, I would get so much out of this offense more than anybody could. The fact that teams are afraid to do what the New Orleans Saints did with Taysom Hill is beyond me. You give Joe Milton a bunch of work, run him as an RB, throw it to him, let him get some tosses in there 2, 3, 4 times a game. The guy's got a cannon. Like, especially if you do some weird play where he's running and he stops and you've got a wide receiver that's broken off on this nobody near him. He just throws this cannon 60 yards down the field. Like, Joe Milton could have 4 or 5 passing touchdowns, 2, 3, 4, 5 rushing touchdowns, a receiving touchdown, double-digit touchdowns, 800, 700 total yards as a slash player that's never starting regularly at all or ever starting.
So his opinion was, you know what? And I guess Mayo was, I got this kid, and he's going to go off. And no,
right.
we're not going to get
Thank you.
We're not going to get the
Thank you,
overall.
Good talk, Denny.
No, but Milton.
Good talk. I agree with you. It's a good topic, Denny. It's a good topic. Dice Boy says, Smitty, I know you're not arguing. I'm not going to even read the rest of your question. I know you're not trying to argue points that you will not call in and defend. No one likes Brock Purdy, Dice Boy. What are you talking about? Read the room. Read the room. Brock Purdy better than Herbert. Didn't you see Herbert throw some interceptions? Oh, yeah. Dice Boy, tell me you only watch Niner games without telling me. Come on, bro. Call in.
Right.
Herbert threw interception. Herbert, bro, Brock Purdy doesn't hold a candle to Justin Herbert. Like, stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. Here, go get a coffee, come back, take a lap after. You're embarrassed.
Take a lap.
Purdy, guys, don't forget this show tonight, Dynasty Value of Derrick Henry, and that will lead into another show on the main channel about Derrick Henry. Potentially could
2 years old.
Yeah, Dynasty Value. I mean, it's hard to trade them, but we'll talk about what to do with them. Let me get these super chats out of the way. BBQ, $10 hauler, appreciate you. If Stafford retires, please don't. Where do you rank Puka, and could you see the Rams signing a QB? This is the biggest concern I have for Puka Nacua. And BBQ, this needs to be a Dynasty video as well. If everybody keeps ranking Puka Nacua as the second, third, fourth ranked wide receiver in fantasy, big, grave mistake. I like him a lot. Redraft, monster. Do I expect Stafford to return for a year? Yes. But the moment Stafford's gone, Puka Nacua, it's not that he's not good. It's not that he won't run amazing routes, but he will get his production cut into at least a third of it will fall off. There's no way he can maintain the value he has with the oversaturation of usage without Matthew Stafford. It takes a special quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger to AB, Stafford to Puka Nacua. There's very rare situations where somebody oversaturates a player. And let's not make a mistake and say Puka Nacua is as talented as JJ physically. He's not. Don't embarrass yourself. Let's not act like Puka Nacua is on the same level as Jamar Chase from a physical standpoint. Don't embarrass yourself. Is Puka Nacua fantasy football-wise as good as both of them or in the same tier? Absolutely, because situation cannot be separated from player. But we do have to worry about if situation could change. And then it does get separated. So we'll definitely attack. That's probably more important than any other topic. You know, maybe the Puka Nacua one I moved to tonight. I might need to do that. That's a good topic. Let's do that one. A great topic. And to answer your question, if Stafford did retire, Puka Nacua would fall into the top of round 2 for me. You can say what you want. You can get all mad, get your panties in a bunch or whatever, but what in the hell is he going to do? Is he QB proof? Probably to a degree, but not to the degree Stafford's feeding him. No one could step in and do that.
Right, the volume. The volume is just insane.
But can I say one thing about Puka?
Go ahead.
And that one catch he made? We got some snow. Stafford ripped it, and man, they needed that. And Puka made a hell of a catch on the back shoulder. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he kept the drive alive.
Well,
Puka
Thanks,
made
Denny.
That's a good point.
catch in the snow. Sweetie.
All right, Denny, hold on. Denny, it's a little too much tonight. You got to slow down a little bit. Hold on. Go ahead, Travis.
No, I'm just saying what Denny's saying. He makes a good point too, because Stafford, even in his age, he can still throw the ball anywhere on the field.
Yeah,
that's another thing from a quarterback you don't necessarily get is, and that's a big part of Puka's game. He gets open all over the place, short, long, sidelines, everything. So that's a good point.
D-Town says I'll be in Chandler this week. What good pizza spots? That's funny because I didn't even know you were asking that question. D-Town, Pizza Bianco. Look it up. Pizza Bianco. Look it up. Lou Malnati's. Look it up. Lou Malnati's. Malnat. Malnati's. Look that up. Trevor's Liquor on Indian School and about 30. I want to say it's like 36th Street. Actually, I'm going to get that for dinner tonight. I'm going to get Trevor's Liquor pizza for dinner tonight. I'll put it on my Instagram so you can look at it. But it got an 8.4 did I say? 8.4 from Portnoy. Trevor's Liquor, I believe, has the highest score in Arizona from Portnoy. So it's technically speaking, according to Dave Portnoy, the best pizza in Arizona. and that's on like Indian School and 36th Street. Trevor's Liquor. So go check that out. Appreciate you, D-Town, and this super chat here from Calvin. Hold on a second. Hey, Smitty, after you got me hyped about JD5, I put a bet on Washington to go to the Super Bowl 55-1. Hedge my bets or let it ride. I mean, hedge it a little bit, like put something potentially, but do I get out of that? Do I cash it out? I don't think so. I mean, if it's like 10 or 20 bucks, hell no. If it's like $1,000, maybe it depends on what the cash out would be. But I think if it's like 20 bucks or 100 bucks, or I'm sorry, yeah, like even like 100 bucks, I'd let that ride. Like, who cares? You know, you only get this shot once, and you'll kick yourself if you cash out. It depends on how much is it, Calvin. Let me know how much it is, and I'll tell you whether I would just let it ride no matter what. Go ahead, Denny.
I was just saying I didn't know we were going back to Portnoy, but the North Shore, north of Boston.
Mm-hmm.
This place got Monty's and Lynn City and Sin. That was his best. So you got whatever you're talking about, and your best pizza in Arizona is the worst pizza from Massachusetts.
No, it's not.
And I mean that in the best way.
No. See, that's the problem. Denny, have you had Arizona pizza as you run your mouth about it? The answer is you haven't. Have you tried Trevor's Pizza? You haven't. Have you tried this and that? You haven't. So you're making assumptions that everybody makes about Arizona, that we can't have the best pizza. We have, maybe it's not the number one in the country, but we're in the top 10. We have a place that's in the top 10. No doubt about it.
Can you tell me where it is?
It's on Indian School and 36th Street, roughly. It's called Trevor's Liquor, and it's a high-end restaurant and liquor store. Like I said, you bump into something in the one section of it and knocks a bottle of anything over, it's probably $500. It's a high, and you look, and not to mention, you're waiting. You can't even order a pizza to go. If you want a pizza, you got to go there, order it, and sit there at the hostess station and wait for it. They don't mess around with, let me get you a to-go order. They can't do that.
We got good pizza on every corner up there. Everyone's fighting over each other for this thing.
Calvin says $100, bro. Let that ride. I mean, what are you gonna do? I guess what is the cash out? Like, if you hedge it right now, you're not gonna get anything really in return. I mean, you could drop. I guess you could drop. Yeah, who cares? Let it ride, bro. You could do some sort of creative, like, Eagles, something, I don't know, some kind of like three item, contest where it's like the Eagles win and Barkley has a touchdown, and like if you ride the Eagles on like 3 different things, maybe, but I just let it ride, bro. $100, who cares? If you could cash it out for like $2 or $3 grand. If they make it one more round, like, then come back to me. Like, if there's anything significant, like thousands of dollars, then come back to me. It's pretty fun to cash something like that out. But I don't know. Let me know what it is next round when you make it through. 916, you're live, and what's your name and where you calling from?
It's Dice, and I'm calling from California.
Dice boy.
I'm coming to back up my man Brock, man.
Okay, first of all, kudos to you for calling in and being a man about this. But second of all, tell me. Yeah, go ahead. You have the floor. Go ahead, Brock Purdy.
No, all I was saying, man. All I was saying is a lot of people slandered my man Brock, and after these performances,
this is where people calling in. Back off.
He shouldn't be slandered as much as he was.
Why would
Herbert performances, C.J. Stroud, Jordan Love, even Matthew Stafford,
hey, bro,
quarterback that people say are better than Brock, had some bad performances.
So a bad performance by Stafford, who got his team insanely further than the Niners, is now relegated to being lesser. No, hold on, bro. Hold on. Okay, the way you're talking, you're judging one off performances and you're drawing conclusions. Like to suggest Herbert's a bad quarterback because these are your words, not mine. He threw. Did he have 4 interceptions or was it 3? Was it 4?
I think it was 4.
I think
something like that.
It was 4. I think it was 4. Okay, hold on. Everybody, hold on. Denny, hold on.
Everybody quiet down.
He threw 4 INTs, is what you said, and you're comparing him to a guy who threw 4 INTs in a playoff game? Your quarterback didn't even make the playoffs, bro. Like, I don't understand your logic at all. And for you to think that we're going to give Brock Purdy some sort of props off of the year he had, he was pitiful this year. If anything, you're going downward. You're going in the wrong. Brock Purdy's going in the wrong direction. What are you talking about?
But listen, this year we were hurt. We had an O-line that was trash. Our O-line was horrible. Listen. I'm basing Brock Purdy's performances in the playoffs versus Matthew Stafford,
let's cherry pick.
Herbert, Jordan Love, their performances in the playoffs.
Let's cherry pick. When you've got Bosa and Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey in an elite status level, which he'll never be again. We can go to Christian McCaffrey next because I know you're gonna have a biased, like totally unaware Unger take on Christian McCaffrey. I can feel it already. But when everything was perfect, Brock Purdy was great. Let me tell you something, bro. Brock Purdy's never going to play with Trent Williams at his elite status type of level ever again. Brock Purdy's never going to have Christian McCaffrey of old back. Brock Purdy's never going to have the wide receiver room that he had, let alone even a remnants of it. George Kittle, you'll be lucky if he still has one more elite year left. Your Niners are cooked, bro. Your Niners are going to be a shell of themselves walking in the next year. That's not me trying to roast. That's giving you pure fact. Your team is not even going to be remotely close to the same level it was 2 years ago. What makes you think Brock Purdy, we're supposed to give Brock Purdy all this absolute like credit when he's walking into the worst scenario next year than he had this year? What are you talking about?
Oh, I like him. I don't know about that one.
Why?
I don't know about that one.
Why? Explain.
Last year, this past season, it can't get worse.
Why? Why can't it get worse? What's your logic is all backed by 0. You don't have any sort of. What do you mean? It can't get any worse. Why can't?
It can't get worse.
Why? Why can't it get worse?
We're getting healthier.
You're getting healthier. How are you getting? Where are you getting your information? We're getting healthier. Who said you're getting healthier? Who told you that?
What do you mean? CMC, listen, I know you want to get on CMC about his injury. Yes, I'm not saying CMC is going to come back to full form. He's not. I agree. That's why I agree. We should draft your man. As much as you be hating on Scatterboo to come to the Niners, I think we should draft him. Or at least
Typical Niner.
Typical
Niner. We should draft.
We're going to need a running back. Listen, I don't think CMC is going to perform. He's going to come back to performing.
When Debo and Ayuk were playing at a high level, Niner fans say things like, "Trade Justin Jefferson to us." Trade or hey, we should trade for Josh Allen and have him behind Brock Purdy. Niner fans are the. I love my Niner fans, but they're the most delusional when it comes to like player values, who's still got value. This guy thinks Christian McCaffrey's getting healthier. This guy thinks Trent Williams is getting healthier. Let me tell you something. Trent Williams is on the verge of retiring. What?
I didn't say he was getting healthier.
You said the Niners are getting healthier, so.
Yeah. Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams missed a couple games.
What do you mean? Greenlaw had to exit the game because of his Achilles was acting up again, and he's probably gone.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think anybody's informed you. Somebody want to tell him? Does somebody want to tell him what's going on in San Francisco? I don't think he has a clue. Your team's going to look very different next year. You're probably not going to have Ward or Greenlaw, or it's going to be a completely different.
Faithful, baby. Faithful.
I'd like to step in here and tell him about his team.
Go ahead, Denny.
His team was awesome like a year ago.
2 years ago.
And then And then, oh man, he was something else. McCaffrey. Boy, you had Debo. Debo ended up being a bust.
Remember when is the most boring form of conversation, Denny? Tony Soprano said that. So keep it moving. Why don't you talk about now? Talk about now.
Well, I can't. You just punked me out.
Hold on, Denny. Hold on. Let me go back to Dice. Let me go back to Dice Boy for a second.
I don't want to continue man.
Look, Dice Boy. I appreciate you calling in, but you gave no substance whatsoever on any take you had. Zero. You just said we're getting healthier. You have no evidence of that. You just state that like as if you're accepting that that's probably what's going to happen. You don't know you're getting healthier. Ayuk is coming back from a horrible knee injury.
Brock was the problem for the 49ers. Everything else was the problem for the 49ers. Our O-line, our wide receiver room, our defense. Brock Purdy was not the problem.
Bro, everything that made Brock Purdy turn back into a pumpkin is unfortunately there again this year. All the problems you think were in the way last year are still there this year. If Trent Williams doesn't come back and play like his old self, neither one is likely. And both of them, he cannot come back and play. It's not going to happen.
Well, we have the 11th pick, Smitty, and we could O-line. That's the good thing about having the 11th pick.
Okay. Well, I wish you luck, Dice Boy. I think maybe in the future in the chat, you shouldn't act like you have some sort of crystal ball and say things like, Brock Purdy, you really comparing, like it'd be one thing if you're like, hey Smitty, it's Dice Boy in the chat and I'm kind of excited about Brock Purdy this year. That's fine. But when you're in the chat going at me and you're saying you didn't dare compare Brock Purdy to Justin Herbert, who just threw 4 INTs in a playoff game that Brock Purdy didn't make, like you're running rabid, bro.
But Brock Purdy, listen, all I'm saying is compare Purdy's playoff games when he was healthy and his team
I don't have to compare anything. I don't have to compare anything.
Versus Herbert when his team was healthy. He had healthy. He had Pat McConkey. J.K. Dobbins.
My voice is high.
Come on, bro. He had a playoff team.
Dice.
He had on John Harbaugh.
Dice, you won 0% of this argument. 0. You didn't even get like okay, good point. Nothing. 0.
Hey, man, I'm not a stat man.
Apparently. But I do appreciate your guts and determination to call into this show and back up your comments. Didn't do a good job, but you did it. And for that, my friend, I'm going to Smitty approve you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Dice Boy, call in anytime. I got you in the phone line, so you'll get right in. Later, pal.
Appreciate it.
I mean, it took courage to call in and have no point at all.
I always respect when they call.
Yeah, I respect that. I mean, I give him respect. It just.
I mean, and I get where he's coming from, but that was a pure fan base, like you're hoping these things happen.
Yeah.
But
I mean, especially like this is the way Niner fans engage, right? They're in the comments of the, if the Eagles lose to the Commanders, you'll go to the Eagles Twitter posts everywhere where it says the Eagles lost. It'll be like NBC. It'll be unbiased post. And there'll be Niner fans going, and it's like, bro, you didn't even make the playoffs. Like, you shouldn't be allowed to say anything at all. When your team didn't get even into the playoffs, you can't make fun of another team that's made it into the Final Four. Like, that's the problem with the Niner fan bases. I love them, but good God. For him to be like, Herbert threw 4. You're going to judge Herbert, who just threw 4 INTs? Guess what? We didn't have an opportunity to see Brock throw 4 INTs because they didn't make the playoffs. Right. Not to mention, Brock was awful this year. So bad that the fan base is divided. And half the fan base doesn't want to pay him. Half the fan base does. He was going to get $60 million. He played so god-awful. He maybe will get 45, 50. And it's going to be a standoff for the ages again. And guess who's going to screw it all up? Kyle Shanahan.
Yep, and like we've talked about over the past two off seasons now that they had a really nice window, but that it could cut real fast.
Yeah.
That's what's happening because everything's falling apart at once. So.
All right, I'll be back for the Puka Nacua conversation tonight. Denny, did you have any final words? I don't think Denny's phone's connecting. Denny, I appreciate you. Travis, any final thoughts? I'll be back for a Puka Nacua Dynasty stream. It might be a Puka Nacua redraft stream as well, or I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm fully going to do. All right.
Yeah. No, I'll talk to you tonight.
All right, later, Travis. All right, I'm out of here. Appreciate every single one of you. Deuces.
Take a lap. Don't come back. You're a Kyron hater. You're an HN instigator. Your mama never taught you how to be anything but AC Slater. And even if you want to pretend you like Kyron Williams now, he's never going to love you back, so he won't turn no frowns upside down. Maybe you never had a papa, and that's okay, because I could be your daddy. Your mama never minded, so let's just be a big family. Kyron, HN, Bijan, Chase Brown. Look, there's another touchdown. If I'm going to be your papa, you better get going. Take your lap and run it hard. And throw a little wave as you run down Smitty Boulevard.
Take a big lap. We don't need your hating ass coming back now. Take a big lap. Take one and you don't come back. Take a big lap. We don't need your hating ass coming back now. Take a big lap. Take one and you don't come back. Take a big lap. We don't need your hating ass coming back now.
Denny, you got 10 seconds on the outro screen. Go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
Smitty,
5.
I'm not sure what we're fighting about, but Jalen Daniels was the truth all day. I don't even know what's up with that. But Smitty, you're my boy all day. Thanks for being my friend.
Thank you for being my friend. Thanks for being my friend, Denny. You appreciate you. All right, later.
I'm going to hang up later on, buddy. Want it.